Effective learning requires effort, takes time, and most of all, needs a plan. Most of the time, though, we just coast through life, assuming that we've already learned enough. In my line of work, we are required to participate in lifelong learning. It's part of the deal for a very good reason. And the good news is I have a lot of resources that are available to me to help with just that I'm able to take advantage of regularly. But the thing is, I don't want to just learn medicine. There's so much more to life than that, and so much more to learn and to explore. Over the years, I've dabbled with a whole bunch of different topics, kind of jumping from one thing to the next. Now I realize I've been shortchanging myself. You see, early in September, an article from David Perell crossed my feed. It was simply titled, "Learn Like an Athlete." His recommendation for learning was so simple that it felt profound. It was just this. He says, learn in 3-month sprints and commit to a new learning project every quarter. That's it. It makes so much sense. I mean, this is what we did all through our school years. We had discrete courses, and when I think back to some of my best teachers, it is clear they all had established plans to help make sure that we, the students, were successful. So why don't we do that for ourselves? We are so fortunate that there are so many tools at our disposal to help with learning, yet we often fail to take advantage of them. I know that I have. But as I read the article, this idea stuck with me. I realized that what I wanted, no, I'd even go so far as to say that what I needed was a learning plan. So, a new quarter is approaching. Throughout the month of September, I decided I was going to figure out what it was that I wanted to focus on, and then see what tools I had at my disposal. It didn't take long for me to land on my learning subject. Each of the past 3 years, I participated in National Novel Writing Month, otherwise known as NaNoWriMo. For those unfamiliar with the idea, it's simple. Throughout the course of November, you write 1,667 words every day. At the end of the month, you have a roughly 50,000-word book. That equates to about 200 pages. The first year I did it just to prove to myself that I could. I enjoyed it. It was a challenge, but one that I was so excited and felt exhilarated to have accomplished. The next 2 years, I did it just because I did enjoy it so much. Now, I went into writing my first book and pretty much the next 2 as a pantser. People talk about plotters versus pantsers. Plotters go to sit down before they've even written a story. They have it all outlined. Every scene. Pantsers, on the other hand, sit down with a vague idea and start writing by the seat of their pants. Last year, I decided I was going to try and plot things out a little bit, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have a clear view of how to tackle an outline, how to make it effective, and how to really get my story planned out. Plus, I'll be honest, I decided to start doing this with like a week to go before November started. There wasn't a whole lot of time. I want this year to be different. In early 2025, NaNoWriMo, the official not-for-profit organization behind the endeavor, fell apart. There were a lot of reasons. And since then, there have been some other attempts to try and keep the idea alive. But it just doesn't feel the same. Still, I have my idea for my next book, and I want to write it. Over the years, I've been able to accumulate a whole lot of books and other sources about writing, but I haven't used them. I realized that this is the perfect time to change that. So I'm kicking off my 4th quarter learning sprint by focusing on how to write my next book better. So I went and I took stock of the material that I have available. I selected some candidates that I thought would be good sort of introductory texts. Then, I'll be honest, I used ChatGPT to get suggestions as to a plan. I was able to tell it what things I had, what things I was choosing from, and then it was able to kind of make a recommendation and a reasonable plan for those next 3 months. I'll be honest, I couldn't be more excited to undertake this sprint. So, over the next 3 months, there are 6 books that I plan to read, 2 each month. The first 2 books focus on how to really structure a story, how to get that plot, and what are the key elements that move a plot from a beginning to an end. The second 2 are really going to focus on taking that structure and developing it and getting it outlined. The final 2 books focus on developing characters and really nailing in the theme of my book. I'm also going to be pairing these books with some courses available to me on Jessica Brody's Writing Mastery Academy. I've gone through and I've also been able to outline some key activities and exercises that I'm going to work on during those next 3 months. The goal is, on January 1st, 2026, I will have a complete outline of my book so that I can sit down and I can start writing. People often ask me why I write. I get it. For many, writing was just a chore that we trudged through. But I always enjoyed it. The other thing is, over the years, I find I have a lot of stories bouncing around in my head pretty much constantly. This is a way for me to get those stories out, to live with them, to see, is there meat on those bones? Do these stories breathe? I get to live in worlds that I never could because they simply aren't worlds that exist. So, for the next 3 months, I'm going to focus on how to get better at that. At the end of the 3 months, I'm going to pick a different learning topic and go into that in the first quarter of 2026 as I use what I learned this past quarter and apply it to writing my next novel. The more I think about it, the more excited I am about this idea. Take all of these resources we have available with the internet and with books and with other things and learn. Learn new things, but do it in a focused and structured way so that it actually means something. Life is just a big practice session, and this is another little way for me to do a bit better at it.